Proteus, right? What does lipase do? Breaks down.
Fats, carbohydrates,
Yeah. So
carbohydrates.
you got it, and then
and protein.
protein, right? Okay. So and then they get squeezed into here and help break down the chyme. So here's your chyme, and on it you got this little chunk of fat right here. Okay. So CCK also goes to the gallbladder and tells the gallbladder to
Squeeze.
contract or squeeze, yeah, and it puts out what?
What's that, bile?
Bile, right? And it goes to the liver and tells it to
Make more bile.
make more bile and start secreting bile, right? So what does bile do? Bile, it looks like what?
They're like phospholipid.
Yeah,
things.
they have like a fatty acid tail,
So yeah, they're gonna stick
right?
themselves.
And so they have like they're amphiphilic, right?
Yeah.
And so the tail goes what, into the fat, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens?
And it breaks off like a little chunk of
And it
fat.
swims away with its little chunk of fat in it,
And then now it's able to pass through.
right? And then so it swims away, and then so this is all happening down here, right? Past this, right, down in this area, because that's where the bile is coming in. So it has to happen down here. So as it's being emulsified, and as it's being like, so this is called emulsification, right? I think it's emulsification. So as it's starting to squeeze it down, peristalsis, right, is how it moves it forward. And so it contracts back here and relaxes in front of it, and then it contracts and relaxes in front of it, so it can push it forward. As that's happening, it starts to mix the chyme with this bile, right? And so these guys rip off fat chunks into these bigger fat chunks, and then what happens?
And then the lipase breaks down like.
Breaks them down even more, right?
Yeah.
Into a, what is that?
Triglyceride.
A triglyceride, right? And now this triglyceride comes up to a cell where? In the, what is this?
Small intestine.
Small intestine, and the word for that is entero, right?
Enterocyte.
So an enterocyte,
Enterocyte.
Enterocyte, an enterocyte. When he hits this, there's something on this wall, right? What is it? And has an enzyme on the wall, right? And as this guy hits it, he gets turned into a mono. So the lipase comes in and kind of cuts these guys up even more, and cuts them into monosaccharides. So they're not three sugars anymore, but it's just one, right? So a monosaccharide, like a glucose, fructose, galactose. Those are all monosaccharides.
So is the like the amphiphilic lipid with the little fat on the end? Is that the triglyceride, or is it broken down into a triglyceride and then it's broken down into
So this is the fat. This is
Okay.
the fat piece. This is an amphiphilic molecule. This is a fatty acid with a protein or a phospholipid head amine.
Okay.
So it's just like we talked about 264,
Yeah.
this thing. These are fatty acids with phospholipid heads, okay? And they stick their fatty acid tail into this fat chunk and they swim away.
So the triglyceride part is going to be from the
So
fat
yeah, so this is
itself.
a fat chunk right here, lots of fat. Lipase comes in and breaks them down into triglycerides and then monosaccharides, okay?
Okay. So does the lipid bile stuff, does that just like float away after it's like broken down or whatever? Or is that still part of that, is what I'm asking?
Well, this goes away. It can't go through here.
Okay.
You poop it out.
Okay.
You're gonna poop that out.
Okay.
So it gets broken down to a monosaccharide from lipase,
Gotcha.
right? So the lipase kind of comes in and it hits this, and this enzyme on this enterocyte wall breaks it down even more into a simpler monosaccharide, as low as form can get, like a glucose or a fructose or a galactose, the smallest form of sugars we can get. So it's not a disaccharide, it's not a polysaccharide, it's a monosaccharide, right? So it comes in, this is my monosaccharide right here, okay? So
Is the wall stuff the enterokinase? Is that what breaks it down, or is that something else? I feel
no,
like enterokinase is. Go ahead.
yeah. So enterokinase has to do with protein stuff.
Okay,
breakdown.
but that's just because it's in the
Yeah,
small
that
intestine.
is over here.
Okay.
But remember, enterokinase had to do with like the other, like those three that he listed out, and enterokinase activated this one, activated that one, activated that one. That whole story. We can go over that too in a minute.
Okay.
So we got monosaccharides here. So that's my monosaccharide, okay? And so in this enterocyte, he gets a little coat on him, right? A coat of proteins. And so this is just basically a fat, cholesterol, right? And then I put proteins on it, and now I call it a
Chylomicron.
yeah, look, the chylomicron.
We code it in proteins.
So he has lots of cholesterol and lots of fats, right? And then he goes and he bypasses the blood, but he goes to the what? The lymphatic system, right? He goes past the blood into the lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system carries the chylomicrons.
And then drops into that area where the blood goes into.
And what are these called? The subclavian veins, right?
Yeah.
And it drops them into there, and then they go into the blood, right? And then once they're in the blood, they get broken down even more. Because then they go to the liver, and what happens to the liver? Do you have your little drawing for the liver? What happens here is chylomicrons, so here's your liver. Okay? You got chylomicrons or I'm gonna put that. Chylomicrons come up to here, and in this process, they rip off the triglycerides, okay? And so this guy is made up of cholesterol and triglycerides, right? So they rip off the triglycerides, and the triglycerides go to the liver.
Off of the chylomicron and
Yes.
off the triglycerides.
And they become very low density lipoproteins, VLDLs.